We start our Friday with breaking news that could really mess up the start of your day. If you work or live in downtown South Bend, there is a big power outage right now that could last a while. We'll have what you need to know. Good morning, it's 5 a.m. I'm Bob Montgomery.
And it is a frosty morning. Literally, we have temperatures down near the freezing point. We'll talk about how long they'll stay there coming up.
What you're doing is hurting us. The gun violence is wrong. It has to stop.
And good morning, I'm Leanne Tokars. While you slept, the city of South Bend came out with a new approach to try and stop the violence in your neighborhoods. Thanks for starting your Friday with WSBT First Thing in the Morning.
First, fast, accurate. You're watching WSBT Channel 22 News. First Thing in the Morning.
It is not a good scene right now. Downtown South Bend, breaking news, several buildings, no power at all after reports of a fire in an electric vault.
Now, the first report of smoke in a manhole came in around 9:30 last night in the 200 block of Washington Street. Later, several lights went out. Then just after midnight, even more buildings lost power, resulting in a complete power outage for most of downtown. The underground vaults are owned by Indiana-Michigan Power, which, as you can see, is reporting over 800 outages in St. Joseph County right now. And there's been no official word on when the power should come back on, but firefighters say there's a chance it won't be back on at all today. Therefore, many businesses might be closed today. Overnight, several businesses suffered because of the power outage, including our partners at the South Bend Tribune and others who are open throughout the night. WSBT's Annie Chang is heading to the scene right now. Coming up at 5:30, she'll have reaction from one business who potentially lost thousands overnight, saying this outage is hurting his business.
It is approaching 5:02 and we're looking outside. It's a nice clear morning, which means this morning it's a nice cold, like very cold morning. And meteorologist Carrie Peugeot, I took your advice.
Yeah, good.
I covered the flowers that we
Good.
had planted. And I think I may have saved them because it was pretty frosty on the grass when I came in.
Yeah, if your car sits outside, you'll notice that there's going to be some frost on it. And you might notice a little glisten on the grass. It looks a little whiter this morning. So we do have some areas of frost. We also have fog that we're dealing with. And we're not done with the rain yet. I know.
Great.
I know. Okay,
But it's Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday, so there's the upside to all of this. Outside overnight, and you probably saw that yesterday late in the afternoon, we had those clearing skies with that sunshine, and overnight with those clear skies, we have had temperatures drop into the 30s. And I want to point out Benton Harbor. Benton Harbor at 30 right now. However, we have seen some upper 20s being recorded there in northern Berrien County. So that's where we've had at least a freeze, as well as in Sturgis with temperatures right now at 30 degrees. It's still hanging on at 35 in South Bend, but that's, remember, anytime you get into a rural area, those temperatures are likely to be a few degrees cooler. Elkhart's at 33, and these temperatures may stay pretty steady here between now and the next couple of hours because we're going to add rain. If you look at this wider picture, this is the satellite and radar, and while we did get a break from the rain for a little while, we do have some showers that are developing, and those will push into our area this morning. I don't expect it to be heavy or like an all-day rain, kind of like yesterday in the morning how it looked, but you can see we already have some showers around Winnemac and North Judson, which are going to be very light. If you're planning out your day, most of the rain is going to fall this morning, but again, I want to stress that it's not like the last 2 days types of rain. It will be off and on, and we will get temperatures up near 50 degrees later this afternoon. We continue our cool stretch, but at least we're moving in the right direction. Coming up, we'll talk about some much warmer air headed our way, and of course talk about that weekend in just a few minutes. Leanne.
All right, thanks, Carrie. We're following some breaking news out of Indianapolis this morning. At least 6 people are hurt after an explosion at an apartment complex. It happened on the city's northwest side around 10 last night. 2 people were taken to the hospital in serious condition, but their injuries are not considered life-threatening. All units in the building are considered unlivable this morning. Fire crews say a lot of students from Marian University live at that complex. It's not clear what caused the explosion. Your time now is 5:04. Firefighters continue to make progress against several wildfires burning right now across San Diego County. In one city, crews found a body in that debris.
Right now, crews are trying to figure out how the fire started, but as CBS's David Begnaud explains, tens of thousands of evacuation notices have been issued in Southern California communities in the very path of these fires.
From the air and on the ground, firefighters remain focused on San Marcos as a raging wildfire continues to consume vegetation and structures in its path. Choppers swept in to put out hot spots along smoldering hillsides Thursday. But triple-digit temperatures and winds sparked flare-ups. and forced authorities to evacuate thousands more residents. Scott Martin and his family are taking up shelter at a hotel for now.
Literally, there were black clouds and flames just coming right down the hill from our front door.
The fire is burning everything in its path. This home right behind me in San Marcos, reduced to rubble. Firefighters say what makes this wildfire so difficult to battle is that it's essentially creating its own weather pattern as it sucks in oxygen. Further west in Carlsbad, crews have made significant progress. That news, though, did little to comfort residents who've completely lost their homes.
I'm very upset, but what can you say? I'm alive. It's okay, and you just have to look at it that way, I guess.
Cooler temperatures and calmer winds are forecast for today, and firefighters say that could help them gain more control of the multiple fires burning around San Diego. David Begnaud for CBS News, San Marcos, California.
Hundreds of new jobs are coming to a South Bend area where a company is already here and expanding. Nello Corporation wants to build a new facility near the ethanol plant. Now, the plan is to break ground in September and be finished by early next year. The company is interested in building another building within 5 years, making a campus-like environment. This company makes steel rods used for cell phone towers and other products. Now, Nello told the city it expects it will need to add about 600 employees over that, in fact, over the next 10 years here. Now, a busy downtown South Bend street is closed after part of a parking garage fell. It's the garage at the corner of Main and Wayne Streets. You can see part of the brick facade fell onto the street and sidewalk. The city closed Wayne between Main and Michigan and part of the sidewalk. Crews are cleaning up and hoping it will get repaired, but again, this area will be closed off until further notice. We may have just finished voting in the primary elections, but in Elkhart County, it's already looking ahead to the fall with its new vote centers. At a meeting yesterday, the election board talked about how the new vote center process went in last week's primary and what it can do better. For one, voter turnout should be much higher in November's general election. The Elkhart County clerk says a study committee will look at the vote center plan and tweak it over the summer. The committee will look at which locations had the highest turnout and whether to add a location or more poll workers. You might remember lines were out the door when the polls closed last week in a couple of spots. Elkhart County whittled down more than 100 voting precincts to 25 vote centers.
Some good news for those hoping for a minimum wage hike in Michigan. A Republican bill to raise the minimum wage from $7.40 to $9.20 an hour has passed the state Senate. The bill now goes to the House. What do you think about this? The Indiana Board of Education is giving its initial approval to a proposal that would allow college graduates with a B average in any subject to earn a K-12 teaching license by passing one test. State School Superintendent Glenda Ritz tried to kill this licensing proposal, but her motion failed. Critics say it would allow untrained teachers to lead a classroom without understanding childhood development or classroom management. But the board would require applicants to have at least 6,000 hours of real-world experience and undergo training upon taking a job. The board will vote on this proposal later this year. Well, it may be a bit chilly, but don't be surprised if you see more bikes on the road this morning.
Yeah, it is a bit chilly. It's cold, but today is National Bike to Work Day. Just layer up, you'll be fine. Many companies are promoting cycling today through organized rides. Right now in Indiana, vehicles are the #1 source of air pollution. Substituting a car trip with a bike ride or walking to your destination will cut harmful emissions. Now keep in mind, this is separate from Michiana's Bike to Work Week, which is coming up next month. We're following another breaking news story about a ferry sinking, this time in Bangladesh. Those details are coming out.
We were like really freaked out by it.
Okay, scruples moment. What would you do if you found cash? A lot of cash.
And outside this morning, we have frost, we have fog, and we're talking more rain. So we'll sort out when you'll see all of those coming up next.
First to cover breaking news with Bob Montgomery and Leanne Tokars. Your accurate storm tracker forecast with meteorologist Carrie Peugeot. You're watching WSBT Channel 22 News first thing in the morning. Keeping you safe on the roads, this is the Morning Drive Report from Zolman's Tire and Auto Care, your complete auto service center.
For your morning commute, we actually have more than one issue that you will be dealing with this morning. If your car sits outside, you're going to notice frost this morning. We have frosty conditions. We have temperatures that have dropped between the upper 20s and the mid 30s. Kind of depends on your location. We are going to be tracking more rain showers. And actually, this is not going to be a bad thing because we are so cold this morning with the clear skies. As the rain gets closer and the clouds get closer, those clouds are like a blanket, so they will keep our temperatures from being down near that freezing point for very long. And we do have patchy, dense fog. Most of the fog problems are going to be in and around Elkhart County and LaGrange County. That's where we have visibilities that have bounced around a little bit. But in Elkhart, even in the last hour, I've watched this number. Right now, it's 1.25 miles. At 1.25 miles, you see the fog, but it's not causing any major issues. But I've seen it down as low as about 1/2 mile and then back up. So it's been bouncing around. So really make sure that you're planning just a little extra time so you can see, or if you do run into a foggy area, know that it's not really going to linger very long. Visibility is a little lower than normal in Warsaw at 5 miles, but we have visibility at 10 miles in South Bend and in Rochester. And as we get closer to rain showers, the visibility will improve with those as well. Here's a look at live WSBT storm tracker. The rain showers that we're talking about are these areas in green. It's mainly light, but it is moving in back to North Judson and in Pulaski County, Winamac, and off to the west. We will see more of those rain showers across our whole area this morning, but I really expect it to stay light, and I expect it to be off and on scattered. I expect the heaviest rain to still stay to our south, so this is not going to be a complete washout for us. Might be pretty uncomfortable for you, though. We have temperatures where we've had clear skies the longest, like Benton Harbor and Sturgis. We're down to 30 degrees, and at 4 o'clock this morning, I saw Benton Harbor registering a temperature of 29, so we have had some 20s showing up. It's 35 in South Bend right now, 34 in Elkhart and Warsaw. Notice Rochester at 41, 36 in Knox. As we're getting in those clouds and those rain showers from the southwest, these temperatures will start to go up. And if you look at the wide picture, here you can see those rain showers. Most of the rain has been over Iowa and Illinois overnight, and actually southern Indiana as well. That's where the heaviest batch of rain is, right around Indianapolis. We're just going to be on the fringe of this, so I do expect to see some showers. But like I said, I don't expect the major part of these rain showers to be in our forecast. We'll be on the northern edge of that during the course of today, so a couple of showers, and we still have a light shower that's possible during the day tomorrow. Just a slight chance during Saturday. I don't expect to have washout conditions today or tomorrow, so that's good news if you're going to be outside. But you still need to keep that umbrella with you because it's not going to be 100% dry either. Mostly cloudy during the day today. Even if you see a pocket of clear skies early this morning, you're going to see it becoming mostly cloudy and a chance of rain showers. High temperatures still at only 50 degrees today. We still have a chance for some frost tonight with lows in the mid-30s, and then we get up to 57 tomorrow. 60s finally return on Sunday, and I really think Sunday's going to feel great because those temperatures finally getting warm in conjunction with seeing some of that sunshine. 67 on Monday, and we're back to 70s and 80s during the middle and end part of next week. So at least there's an end in sight. We don't have to see this cold air over and over and over again.
Yeah, a definite warm up there.
Yeah.
83.
Except for those of us who are playing golf this afternoon.
Yes.
Well, you'll just have to bundle up.
I'm trying to feel sorry for you, but
it's hard.
Not too hard.
I'm sure you'll still have fun.
I will. Yeah, I'll freeze. Have you ever bought a used couch and probably thought maybe you should go through, find out maybe some of the strange lumps?
Yeah, now 3 friends know exactly why that was the case with their new couch. Inside those cushions, well, they found a big surprise, like $41,000 in cash. The money was put in envelopes wrapped in bubble wrap. One of the envelopes even had a name on it. So, being the kind-hearted people they are, they tracked down the woman and returned the cash. The elderly woman says she's been stashing money in that couch for years, and her family members mistakenly donated the couch.
Yikes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Right? Coming up, we're getting a better idea this morning of the American involvement in trying to find those kidnapped schoolgirls in Nigeria.
And next we're going to Bangladesh, where there's another ferry sinking playing out right now. Thanks for watching WSBT first thing in the morning. It's 5:18. Rescuers in central Bangladesh have recovered at least 22 bodies now after a ferry capsized during a storm in a river.
And right now, at least 100 people are missing. It's unclear as to how many people were on board that ferry when it capsized. About 25 people managed to swim to safety. Survivors say the ferry's captain ignored requests to stay close to shore as that storm started brewing.
Nigeria's president makes his first visit to Chibok since Islamic terrorists kidnapped more than 200 girls from their school. Those girls have been missing now for over a month and haven't been seen since this hostage video surfaced. American surveillance aircraft are now helping in the search, And the Secretary of Defense says it's premature to consider whether U.S. Special Forces would be used in any kind of a rescue.
Hold on to your wallets. The federal government is coming to the rescue of the internet.
It's called net neutrality. You probably heard about it. Well, there's a new rule that could have a price tag attached that could ultimately land with you.
And outside today, we are talking frost, we are talking fog, and we still have more rain to track. I'll have more on that coming up. It is a cold morning outside. We actually have frost that has developed in some areas, and we've had a little bit of a light freeze. If you did some of that planting with some of those flowers or that vegetation that's just new, hopefully you covered that up. If not, we have a few spots that are above freezing, so maybe you lucked out. Look at these temperatures. Below freezing, though, in Benton Harbor, and we've been as low as in the upper 20s across some parts of Berrien and Cass County. We've also seen temperatures as low as the upper 20s in Sturgis, where we've now warmed up to 32. 35 in South Bend. It's 34 in Elkhart and in Warsaw. But look at Rochester at 41, and we have upper 30 showing up in Valparaiso. We have clouds that are moving in from the southwest. Those clouds are going to help improve these temperatures. Those clouds are like a blanket, so although these temperatures are cold now, we should see them improve at least a few degrees even in the next hour or so. So if you're planning out your day, we'll be in the upper 30s at 8 o'clock, 44 at lunchtime, and still only 54 high, but we are also still tracking a little bit of rain. It's not like the last 2 days where it's been pretty miserable and very rainy, but you can see here on this wider picture, a lot of the rain is over Illinois and Iowa and central and southern Indiana. We will just be on the northern fringe of that, so I do expect a couple of showers and some light showers this morning, but I don't expect it to be a complete washout. Temperatures over the weekend start to feel a little bit better, especially on Sunday with some sunshine. We get mid-60s, and we're still tracking 70s and 80s for parts of next week.
Now, sports with Pete Byrne.
Rise and shine, Michiana. Time for your morning sports update. The Indiana Pacers closed out their playoff series with the Washington Wizards last night. Game 6 played in Washington, D.C. Indiana had gotten out to slow starts for much of the series, but they pushed the pace in this one. First quarter, Lance Stephenson takes it coast to coast for the basket and the foul. Pacers up 15-10. Later in the quarter, Paul George left all alone at the top of the key. Can't do that. George drains the three. He had a dozen. Indiana would go on a 14-5 run in the second quarter. Roy Hibbert throws it down. The big man chipped in 11 points. That put the Pacers up by 15. And then David West finds George Hill cutting backdoor for the layup. That's a pretty bucket there. West had 29 points to go along with that assist, and the Pacers win the game and the series. Your final from Washington, 93-80. So the Pacers are back in the Eastern Conference Finals for a second year in a row. They will once again face the Miami Heat. Indiana does have home court advantage. Game 1 is on Sunday night. In other sports news yesterday, that the new turf inside Notre Dame Stadium will include a large interlocking ND logo on the 50-yard line. For more on the changes coming to the stadium, you can head to our website, WSBT.com. In baseball, the Cubs lost 5-3 yesterday in St. Louis, and the South Bend Silverhawks won a 5-4 game at home. That's a quick look at sports.
All right, Pete, thanks very much. Violence is leading up to this summer's World Cup soccer matches in Brazil. Yesterday, demonstrations calling for improved public services erupted in several Brazilian cities. Officers even fired tear gas and rubber bullets at protesters who set piles of trash on fire to barricade a central avenue. This demonstration turned violent when some people smashed the windows of a car dealership and the offices of a bank.
Russia is threatening to end its space program partnership with the U.S. This amid growing tensions over the crisis in Ukraine. Russian officials are vowing to abandon the space station 4 years early in 2020. They're also banning Russian-made rocket engines to launch U.S. military satellites. This is a problem since U.S. astronauts have to get rides on Russian rockets to get to and from the International Space Station. Right now, though, NASA says it hasn't received any notification from Russia on any changes to its space cooperation so far.
So, Leanne, there's an 18-year-old in Texas who's just about ready to graduate high school, but he has no worries about what he'll do after graduation.
Yeah, the high schooler is getting ready to be sworn in as the mayor of Archer City this morning. Calvin Green is the youngest mayor the city's ever had. No one else filed to run as mayor, so Calvin won by default. He says he's looking forward to building a better community. Now, many of his teachers and classmates say Calvin is the right man for the job.
I really think that, he's going to do an outstanding job, and it's exciting to see somebody his age, step up.
Yeah, I mean, it's more or less a childhood dream, but as it's gotten closer, I've gotten more excited, and I'm ready to take on the task for sure.
Now, Kelvin has a lot of work ahead of him as mayor. The city is in a stage 4 drought. But Kelvin says he's excited to get into office and begin addressing the town's water needs.
Internet providers could soon charge companies like Google and Facebook for faster delivery to their users. The FCC voted in favor of new net neutrality rules. Now, net neutrality is the idea that internet providers should not be allowed to block or even slow down certain websites. The proposal sparked criticism for allowing providers like AT&T and Verizon to charge companies for so-called fast lanes for internet traffic. We're coming up to 5:30 on your Friday morning, and if you live or work in downtown South Bend, this could be kind of a notable Friday.
It could. Take a live look in downtown South Bend. It's our top story of the morning. A big power outage has most of downtown in the dark right now. We'll be live next to try and answer the question, when's the power coming back on?
You're looking at a very dark downtown South Bend right now. Coming up, I'll tell you how the power outage happened and what crews are saying about when it'll come back on.
We're all saying the same thing as a community of South Bend. What you're doing is hurting us. The gun violence is wrong. It has to stop.
It's a new strategy to help prevent violent crime in South Bend.
And officials are now meeting with the people in your community. They think will commit these crimes, but will they cooperate? We'll explain.
And outside this morning, we have a frost advisory in place because temperatures are near the freezing point. We'll have an update to that, and we'll talk about rain headed in our forecast for today, coming up in a few minutes.
First, fast, accurate. You're watching WSBT Channel 22 News. First thing in the morning.
It's a Friday morning, and it is a blackout Friday morning for downtown South Bend. 5:30 in the morning, and we're counting now 5 hours since power went out for a big chunk of the area.
Firefighters tell us it started with an electrical vault catching fire around 9:30 last night. Then the power grid went dead around midnight. WSBT's Annie Chang is live from downtown right now. Annie, what's the latest?
Leanne, Bob, still no official word from I&M about when power will come back on, but take a look. Crews are on the scene, trucks are on the scene. Workers telling me they're working on restoring each electrical wire one by one. Now, firefighters told us last night power will likely not come back on at all today, but again, still no official word. I want to show you what downtown looks like right now. Kind of eerie, kind of scary. The only lights you're seeing are cars, very few in the building on generators and emergency lights, but you can imagine this is a huge hit for the businesses here. Some had to close early last night, will likely not be able to open this morning, if at all today. Now, for some of those businesses, that means thousands and thousands of dollars they will not be getting back.
The entire power grid is off downtown right now. If you see lights on in buildings, it's either on because of backup generator systems or battery backup on emergency lighting in buildings.
Tonight we opened up for our student night. It's annually one of our biggest nights of the year at 10 o'clock. And about midnight, all the power went out in the building, the whole block as far as we could see. And this has really put a hurt on business.
You just heard Dee Davis, the owner of Club Fever, mention that last night was one of the biggest nights for them in terms of business. That was senior night. So let's put that in dollar amounts. He said senior night usually brings in about $20,000 to $25,000. And last night was pretty much a complete loss for him. The good news is we are not hearing any reports of injuries so far. And of course, we'll bring you those updates as they come. Reporting from downtown South Bend, I'm Annie Chang, WSBT Channel 22 News.
Thank you, Annie. And here's another look at just how dark it is in downtown South Bend this morning. This is a live look from our Skycam provided by St. Joe Regional Medical Center. We're talking about a very cold morning in the 30s.
In the 30s, yeah. You don't want to not have heat on a morning like this.
Definitely not.
Yeah. We do have a frost advisory still in effect this morning until 8 o'clock. That's when temperatures should be better. But it's cold. We're seeing some fog as well, and we're tracking rain showers. So you can pick and choose which is your favorite, and you can go with that one, right?
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, but it is Friday, and we actually have some much warmer temperatures for you this weekend. So that will be an improvement anyway. So this morning, 30 degrees. degrees current temperature along the lakeshore. And we had the 30s all afternoon yesterday. We had wind chills in the 20s along the lakeshore yesterday afternoon. So this is probably not a surprise if you're just waking up in Benton Harbor or even in Michigan City. 35 right now in South Bend. It's 34 in Elkhart and even in Warsaw. Now we do have that frost advisory that expires at 8 o'clock this morning. It's for all these counties that are highlighted in blue, mainly our Michigan counties, but it also includes St. Joe County, like South Bend area, Elkhart County, LaGrange County, where we're seeing some of the lowest temperatures, at least right now. It doesn't include some of our southern counties because where we have clouds, the temperatures are warming up. Clouds act like a blanket and haven't let you drop as far. And the reason we have clouds are because these rain showers are just off to our south and west. We're starting to see a few more in areas like LaPorte County and around Winnemac and North Judson area. So occasionally some showers this morning. We will get up to 50 this afternoon with less rain later this afternoon, but I do expect that your kids will at least want a jacket for today. If they're going to be outside for a long time, maybe an extra sweatshirt underneath that. Coming up, we'll talk about the warmer temperatures for the weekend and some sunshine, when we'll finally see that again in just a few minutes.
5:34. We need to turn to a story developing right now out of Berrien County. A man is in the hospital following a mobile home fire in Three Oaks. Investigators say this fire started about 4:45 this morning at the Oakview Estates mobile home park. Now, police dispatchers aren't sure how the man is doing right now. We will continue to follow this story and bring you the very latest details as we get them.
Those wildfires burning right now in Southern California have turned deadly. Firefighters found a body yesterday while checking hot spots. Right now, there's no information about the person who died, except that the body was found shortly before all evacuation orders were lifted north of San Diego in Carlsbad. This appears to be the first fatality in the fires burning throughout the San Diego region. So far, the fires have destroyed 8 homes, an apartment complex, and 2 businesses. Well, South Bend police are trying something different, a new strategy for the city called group violence intervention. And they hope this will stop shootings and other crimes.
That's the hope, but it'll only work if the people who could ultimately be responsible agree to cooperate with police. Part of the new initiative involves organizing call-ins, which are meetings where police and community leaders talk directly to the members of these street groups or gangs. Because these people are already on probation or parole, they are required to be there. Now, South Bend held its first call-in meeting Thursday night, where they spoke directly to roughly 30 people who police think are most at risk for being involved in gun violence. Clergy and social service agencies were also there, offering an alternative to crime.
If you need ID, we're going to try to assist you with ID. If you need job training, we're going to try to work with job training. It's all based on how much the individual really wants to change and how much help the individual may want needs.
Advocates of group violence intervention say they have seen a drop in homicides in places like Baltimore, Chicago, and Cincinnati with this approach.
This Mishawaka woman who admitted to helping a criminal accused of murdering his brother and sister-in-law will learn her punishment today. Jennifer Levesque pleaded guilty last month to assisting a criminal and transfer of a handgun. Both are felonies that carry up to 8 years in prison. Stephen Clippinger faces murder charges in the deaths of Matthew and Lisa Clippinger. They were shot and killed in their Mishawaka home in June of 2012. The prosecutor wants life without parole if he's convicted. He had only been released from prison 2 years earlier for murder. His trial is scheduled for September. This Warsaw man accused of killing a Purdue student on campus earlier this year could plead insanity. The judge approved paying for a mental health evaluation for Cody Cousins and treated the request as a notice of insanity defense. In court last week, Cousins said he's taking medicine for schizophrenia. His new attorney also asked for the trial to be moved out of Tippecanoe County. No ruling from the judge on that. Cousins' current trial date is set for October.
Leanne, it's 5:37. The Mishawaka City Cemetery is in pretty bad shape this morning, and some parts even have exposed bones. Now neighbors are not happy. Last November, a storm ripped through the property, causing even more damage. Mishawaka Mayor Dave Wood wouldn't go on camera, but told WSBT when the storm hit, the cleanup costs were not in their budget. So they had to find a way to pay for this delicate operation, removing trees without damaging more tombstones, and then the winter hit. Amy Toth was walking with her son a few weeks back when the boy discovered a gruesome find.
He found bones, a spine bone, the hip bone, all them bones you see. So yeah, I just think somebody should cut that at least and put these people back right, you know, flip that over and make it right. It's disrespectful.
The bones have since been covered up with dirt. Mayor Wood says crews are cleaning up the cemetery this week, and in fact, we did see evidence of that.
The time now is 5:37. Some big changes are coming to downtown South Bend, and you can expect to start seeing them this summer. The city is kicking off its Smart Streets initiative. First up on the list of improvements, turning Lafayette and William Streets into two-way streets, and streetscape enhancements along East Jefferson Boulevard. This is just the beginning of a project to turn one-way streets into two-way streets. An engineer laid it all out during a public presentation at the Century Center last night. He says the street changes will revitalize downtown, making it safer for pedestrians and bicyclists, as well as more inviting to visitors.
We take what's just a throughway and we turn it into a place. Still accommodates the car traffic, but it's much more friendly to pedestrians and cyclists and to the business community.
A couple major roads that'll be converted, Michigan and Maine, which are owned by the state. An engineer says the state is supportive of this project and that at some point there will be a transfer of jurisdiction. The entire project could take 3 to 5 years.
New this morning, Michigan's roads could finally be saved, but it would require some more cash out of your pocket. According to a University of Michigan report, the state could solve its road funding problems by moving to a pay-per-mile system. That would require drivers to pay a fee based on the number of miles they drive. The study shows the pay-per-mile system also has the potential to help drivers change their driving habits and improve environmental quality. Right now, road funding comes largely from taxes added on at the fuel pumps.
It's 5:39 and just a quick recap of a big breaking news this morning. Get moving earlier if you have to go downtown this morning. There's a big power outage. A live update coming up again at the top of the hour.
And unless you're a vegetarian, every once in a while you just have a hankering for a good old burger. Well, this one had better be phenomenal when you see the price tag. That's coming up next.
And this morning, here's a look at Mishawaka, where you can see actually pretty well. This is our sky cam provided by St. Joseph Regional Medical Center. We do have some fog, we have cold temperatures, and more rain headed our way. We'll show you those rain showers coming up next.
Now, your accurate storm tracker forecast with meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
Outside this morning, we actually have a pretty cold morning, but I did want to give you a look here at our South Bend sky cam because we've been talking about this all morning where downtown is without power. All the lights you see here at the bottom of the screen are east of the river, and then you can see a lot of dark. Usually we show South Bend sky cam in the morning because it's dark outside and you can see lots of the city lights, but the only lights showing up, these blinking lights, are the lights on top of the Chase Tower. Notice how you can't see anything else below that. So there is that power outage happening in South Bend. So that's what we will be dealing with as far as downtown areas. As far as weather is concerned, we are going to talk about some cold temperatures this morning and still a chance for rain. Most of the rain will be this morning, and we're not talking as much as the last 2 days. It won't be quite as soggy, but we still have a couple of scattered showers. Temperatures this morning right now are much cooler than they're going to be even at 8 o'clock this morning. We should be around 38 by then. We will only top out at 50 degrees, so through most of the day you'll feel those 40s. It's still going to be cold enough for that jacket or that coat if you're outside for very long. Now, I do expect temperatures to start to warm up a little more so than they would normally at this time in the morning because of the rain. When we add clouds and we add rain showers, typically that will keep our temperatures from really bottoming out in those upper 20s and low 30s. We've seen a few spots where we've had clearing for a while in our northern counties where we have seen some upper 20s. But for those of you that have been around Knox and North Judson, temperatures are about 5 to 10 degrees warmer. And that's where we're seeing rain showers. Rain showers now are light, but they are moving across Stark County. North Judson, one of the first places to see that, still has that darker green indicating some heavier rain. But again, these are still overall not expected to be real heavy amounts of rain. We have Knox just on the edge as well as Hamlet. We have southern LaPorte County seeing some of those showers. And northern LaPorte County, you're not seeing a whole lot. You may be getting a few sprinkles around LaPorte up through Rolling Prairie and almost to New Carlisle area, but I do expect you to see more as we go through the next couple of hours. We're not expecting this to be a major deal, but you can tell by the temperatures where we have some clouds, 41 in Rochester, 36 in Knox, 38 in Valparaiso, and only 30 in Benton Harbor where we've had those clear skies. So lower to mid 30s to start for most everyone. We will just be on the northern edge of this rain. A lot of these showers are going to spin around an area of low pressure that's in central Illinois, and then it's going to kind of rotate out of our area. So I do expect to see some showers, but I just don't expect it to be a complete washout. Here's Futurecast. Notice at 8 o'clock this morning, it looks pretty much like what the radar does right now. And watch what it does through the course of the morning. It keeps some showers, especially in our southern counties with us, but it doesn't really cover our whole area. So a couple of scattered showers this morning are definitely possible. The farther north you are, the less you're going to see. 3 o'clock this afternoon, we have the clouds and the rain south of us. We will still see a lot of the clouds by dinner time, but we should start to clear out overnight tonight so that we can actually see some sun for you tomorrow morning. It's your forecast for the rest of today. Temperatures only at 50 degrees for the high this afternoon. Mostly cloudy with those chances of rain. And then as we get into tonight, we'll start to see some breaks in the clouds, and we do have a chance for frost again tonight. So if you covered up plants last night for this morning, you'll want to do that again tonight for tomorrow morning. And then after that, we're looking a little better. Mid-60s over much of the weekend, and then we're back to the 70s and even some 80s in the forecast for next week.
Yeah, you know, we tried to wait off on putting that heat on, but that
couldn't do it.
Battle was lost.
It was cold.
Early yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks.
So how much would you pay for a burger?
Better think twice before you order this one. You're looking at a $200 hamburger. That one burger, $200. It's at a restaurant in Houston, and the chef says people actually order it. So why does it cost so much? Well, it all starts with the beef, which is hand chopped and not ground. And the claim is it's actually healthier than fish and chicken. Then it's topped with goose liver, mushrooms and onions, gold food coloring sprayed onto the bun, and then a thin sheet of real gold leaf. That's real stuff. 24 karat gold is edible. Allegedly.
What do you think?
So they tell me.
Why would you eat gold?
I don't have any idea.
I want to try it now. $200
I would
for
try
a
it, but
burger?
no
Bob,
way.
if you
I wouldn't pay that.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I want Bob to buy us the burger.
That's a good idea.
I've heard that before for most of the women in my life. I want you to buy that for me.
It's trending video time. We'll show you one that might make you queasy.
Yeah, a little bit. Along with one that's getting a lot of you talking, a woman weightlifter who didn't let a little thing like, pregnancy slow her down. It's 5:50 on this Friday morning. If you haven't had a chance to catch up on some of the biggest stories that got people talking this week, we got you covered. This one had a lot of people surprised and talking.
Yeah, most of the time when a woman is pregnant, it's a time to relax and take things slow. But not this new mom. She did no resting during her pregnancy. Take a look. She was still working out, even lifting 150-pound weights just 2 days before her due date. And before she was pregnant, she regularly did CrossFit, so her doctor gave her the green light to keep working out. Since this video was uploaded earlier this week, she has given birth to a healthy baby girl.
If you've ever gone bowling, you know there are a few bowling alleys where if you cross the line, a buzzer will go off. But this dog doesn't quite understand what's happening. Take a look. You can see every time the dog crosses the sensor, he kind of freaks out. He can't stop doing it. This video already has about 300,000 views.
Take a look at this. A base jumper shows us a real look at what it's like to zip line the base jump. As you can see, the jumper holds on to nothing but a string on the zip line. He then takes off down the line, does a backflip, and lets go. His parachute then deploys, and he continues to sail down to the ground. Several people have commented on this video saying their palms got sweaty just watching this.
That would be the queasy one. Yeah.
That amazes me.
I don't know why we
Oh.
always show something like that, and I always go, oh.
Right, yeah.
Somebody
No,
skydiving
thank you,
or
right?
something that's really, I'm not a fan of those heights like that.
No.
With no net.
Neither am I.
All right, we have a cold
We
morning.
do.
Leanne's favorite morning of the week, right?
Yeah.
We have frost, and if your car sits outside, you may actually want a few extra minutes to turn it on, warm it up, scrape it off a little bit. We've been down in the 20s. At about 4 o'clock this morning, the temperature reading in Benton Harbor was 29, now at 30. 32 degrees in Sturgis, 35 right now in South Bend, 36 in Plymouth. And I don't expect these temperatures to stay this low for long because clouds and rain showers are moving back in. But for comfort level anyways this morning, and we're not going to be out of the 30s for a while. 44 at lunchtime, and then we'll get up to 50 later this afternoon. As we get later in the day, we should see less and less of those rain showers, but I do expect to see at least a few of them. I wanted to show you the satellite and radar loop because most of the rain is going to be either off to our west or down to our south. We will just be on the edge of this, but we've seen some light rain in like New Buffalo and LaPorte all the way down through North Judson and into Winnemac, Madairyville. So we do have some of those light showers. The farther north and to the east you are, the less you're going to see, but we're just going to see a couple of showers out of that. It won't be like the last 2 days where it seemed like it would never end. So temperatures today will stay cool, but the weekend looks better. A slight chance of rain tomorrow, but I wouldn't expect to see a washout. You'll be able to mow your grass tomorrow and on Sunday. Mid-60s on Sunday with sun will feel great, and we still have 70s and near 80 for middle part of next week.
My grass is now a meadow. Just for the record.
You'll have a lot of mowing to do.
I got lots of mowing to do.
Well, hope appears gone of finding anyone else alive in that Turkish coal mine explosion, but the effort continues. The latest is ahead.
Knowing that it doesn't have to control you the rest of your life, that decision is so important.
Her story captivated the country. Elizabeth Smart, kidnapped and held hostage for years before freedom arrived. She's telling her story in our region. That's coming up on First Thing in the Morning. It's 5:55. Turkey's energy minister is saying that he hopes a drop in the level of noxious fumes inside of a coal mine will make it easier to reach the miners who are still missing right now. Some 284 miners are known to have died in Turkey's worst mining disaster. The energy minister is also warning about punishment for anyone who may have been found responsible if there were preventable safety issues at this mine. Some bodies were laid to rest in mass burials yesterday. More funerals are planned for today. She was grabbed from her home and held captive for months, but now Elizabeth Smart is sharing her story.
She talked to a crowd near Grand Rapids, Michigan yesterday. You may remember Smart was just 14 years old when she was taken from her Salt Lake City, Utah home. She was found alive 9 months later. Since then, she's been sharing her story of survival. Smart says she's now moving forward with her life and not letting the past get her down. She's also sharing her story because she hopes for the future when it comes to supporting victims of abuse.
Even when people come up to me and say, well, why didn't you run? Why, police were right there, you were so close to your home. Well, they have no idea what I went through. They have no idea what the situation was like.
Smart says progress has been made in supporting victims of abuse instead of blaming them, but there's still a long way to go. And we'll be right back.